You hear the phrase fear of God, and let's be honest, it sounds, well, pretty scary, right? Does it mean we're supposed to be terrified, kind of cowering in a corner? Well, the biblical idea is actually way deeper, and you'll be surprised, a lot more positive. So in this explainer, we're going to break down what it truly means to fear God and why it's probably the exact opposite of what you're thinking.
Here's our game plan. First up, we're going to define what this fear actually is. Then, we'll look at how it even starts and explore the 7 pretty amazing blessings that are said to come from it. After that, we'll get to the heart of it, the difference between a fear based on love versus one based on terror. And finally, we'll wrap up with how you can actually cultivate this reverence in your own life.
All right, let's dive right in. The very first thing we need to do is kind of reset our brains. When the Bible talks about the fear of God, you've got to forget the normal definition of fear. We are not talking about scary movies or that pit-in-your-stomach feeling. This is something else entirely.
So what is it then? Well, at its core, the fear of God is all about profound reverence. Think of it like this. It's a mix of a jaw-dropping awe for God's incredible power and His perfect holiness, and flowing from that awe is this deep desire to live in a way that honors Him. So you see, it's less about being scared of God and so much more about being in awe of who God is.
And when you put them side by side like this, the difference is just night and day. Worldly fear? That's all negative. It's terror, anxiety, dread. It kind of paralyzes you. But godly fear? That's a motivator. It's an awe that inspires respect, and it creates this powerful desire not to disappoint someone you hold in the highest possible regard. One traps you. The other actually frees you to be better. Okay, so that brings up a really good question. If this sense of reverence isn't something we're just born with, where in the world does it come from? Turns out, the scriptures point to 5 really powerful catalysts that can spark it into life.
Just think about that for a second. What kind of experience would have to happen to you to be so powerful that it completely shifts your perspective and gives you this deep, profound sense of awe? Well, the Bible gives us some pretty intense examples.
The first catalyst? Witnessing raw, undeniable, world-changing power. I mean, imagine you're an Israelite standing there at the Red Sea. You literally just watched the most powerful army on the planet get completely wiped out in an instant. Your reaction wouldn't just be relief. It would be this profound, sobering fear, a sudden deep understanding of the scale of power you're dealing with.
And the second catalyst is seeing divine justice firsthand. In the book of Acts, there's the story where a couple lies directly to God and they face an immediate, fatal consequence. The text says great fear seized the entire community. When you see that actions have real, serious, direct consequences, it creates this very sober respect for authority.
So let's kind of put all the pieces together. This reverence gets sparked by these really powerful moments. You might see divine power or witness divine justice. It can also come from something personal, like a prayer that's answered in a huge way. And maybe surprisingly, it can come from receiving forgiveness when you know you absolutely deserve punishment. And finally, it's something that grows just by spending time with Scripture, which is what reveals who God is in the first place.
Okay, so we know what this reverence is, and we have a good idea of where it comes from. But so what? Why is it so important? This isn't just about a feeling. The Bible is really clear that this particular kind of fear comes with some very real, life-altering rewards. And it's not vague either. Specifically, there are 7, count them, 7 distinct blessings that are said to flow directly from fearing the Lord.
And just look at what's on this list. This isn't just, abstract spiritual stuff. It covers every part of life. We're talking about wisdom for your mind, wealth and honor for your physical life, and healing and deliverance for your body and soul. It's a complete holistic vision for a truly good life.
This verse from Proverbs really just hammers the point home, doesn't it? It directly connects the fear of the Lord, which it says is humility, to concrete wages. Like a paycheck. And what are those wages? Riches, honor, and life itself. So it's not just presented as a nice feeling, but as a direct path to a blessed and prosperous life.
And this brings us to what is, for me, the absolute heart of this whole thing. We've talked about power and justice and blessings, but what does this fear actually feel like? It is so crucial to understand that this is not about cowering before some angry tyrant.
Honestly, this verse from Malachi just nails the feeling perfectly. The fear we're talking about is the kind of honor and respect a loving child gives to a parent they deeply admire, or that a loyal servant gives to a good master. You see,
It's a fear that's born out of a relationship built on love and respect, not dread.
So here it is, the one thing to remember if you forget everything else. This fear isn't, oh no, I'm afraid of what God will do to me. It's, I'm afraid of what my actions will do to my relationship with God. It's the fear of disappointing someone you love, someone whose opinion of you matters more than anything else in the world. It is a relational fear, not a punitive one.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. Understanding this idea is one thing, but how does a person actually, do it? How do you go from knowing this in your head to feeling it in your heart?
Well, the answer seems to be that it's a lifelong pursuit, It's not a one-and-done event. And it doesn't start with some huge, grand gesture. It actually starts with something much simpler. A genuine desire, and maybe a simple prayer.
And we're going to end with this prayer from the Psalms, because it really just captures the whole journey. It's not about trying to scare yourself into reverence. It's about asking to be taught, asking to have your heart focused, so that this awe-filled respect can become the thing that guides you. And it leaves us with one last thought. What if the goal isn't to become more afraid, but simply to become more devoted? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.